You look at that clear glass of water and believe it's pure life, but the invisible reality could turn your stomach right now. There is a silent chemical cocktail you ingest every day, approved by governments and ignored by most, capable of affecting your health in ways you can't even imagine. Before we uncover the dirty truth flowing through your city's pipes, smash that like button to support our investigation into what really goes into your body. Number 1. Chlorine. We begin with the ubiquitous chlorine, the chemical guardian that kills bacteria but exacts a very high and cumulative price on your organism. Although essential to prevent immediate epidemics, chronic consumption of this aggressive substance is a true slow poison for your thyroid and healthy gut flora. When you turn on the tap, you smell that strong swimming pool scent, a clear sign you are drinking a potent disinfectant that, in the long run, can compete with iodine in your body and silently disrupt your entire metabolism without you noticing the cause. Number 2. Fluoride. Next, we have the controversial fluoride, sold for decades as the great savior of your teeth, but which many experts consider a worrying neurotoxin. Controversial studies suggest it can calcify the pineal gland, our biological third eye, affecting melatonin production, sleep cycles, and even puberty. It is disturbing to think that a substance rejected in several European countries continues to be compulsorily dumped into our water, raising dark suspicions about its real effects on the IQ and consciousness of the general population. Number 3. Birth control pill residues. Now, prepare yourself for absolute disgust. Residues of birth control pills are circulating freely and without barriers through your city's plumbing. Conventional treatment plants simply weren't designed to filter complex synthetic hormones that are excreted daily in the urine of millions of people. This means that, regardless of your gender or age, you could be ingesting involuntary daily doses of estrogen, contributing to a silent chemical feminization, infertility, and hormonal imbalances that doctors often cannot explain. Number 4. Antidepressants and antibiotics in the water. It doesn't stop there, as the water cycle also carries a heavy cocktail of antidepressants and antibiotics discarded or excreted by society. We are, literally, drinking our neighbor's diluted medication, creating a frightening scenario where bacteria become super-resistant inside our own bodies due to constant exposure. It is an invisible and unprescribed pharmacy entering your glass with every sip, keeping the population mildly medicated without consent, while sanitation authorities do little to update the plant's obsolete filters. Number 5. Asbestos pipes still present in old cities. If you live in an old city, deadly danger might lie in the forgotten and rotting infrastructure underground, asbestos cement pipes. Although the use of this material has been banned in new construction for being proven carcinogenic, miles of old piping continue to transport the water reaching your home. With natural wear and soil vibration, microscopic asbestos fibers break loose and travel directly to your digestive system, a cancer risk ignored due to a lack of public funding for massive pipe replacements. Number 6. Lead from old plumbing solder. Another metallic villain is lead, which hides in the solder of old plumbing and in cheap, poor-quality brass connections. This heavy metal is highly neurotoxic, accumulating in bones and the brain, capable of reducing children's IQ and causing irreversible neurological damage in adults. Corrosive water can leach this poison from pipe walls, turning a simple glass of water into a cumulative dose of toxicity that medicine often takes years to diagnose, when the damage is already done. Number 7. Microplastics. The modern plague of microplastics has already contaminated about 83% of tap water worldwide, turning us into involuntary consumers of polymers. Fibers from synthetic clothing, tires, and degraded trash become invisible particles that pass through municipal filters and lodge in your internal organs. By drinking water today, you are essentially ingesting the equivalent of a credit card ground up over time. And science is still terrified trying to discover what the catastrophic consequences of this plastification of human tissues will be. Number 8. Rust and heavy metals from building pipes. Inside your own building or house, old galvanized iron piping might be releasing a constant stream of rust and heavy metals. That slightly yellowish or metallic tasting water in the morning isn't just dirt, it's pure oxidation entering your body, overburdening the liver and kidneys in their attempt to filter impurities. Corroded pipes are fertile ground for the accumulation of toxic sediments that detach randomly, ensuring you never know exactly when you're drinking a concentrated sip of corroded metal. Number 9. Chlorine-resistant bacteria. Even with all the chemicals dumped into the water, there are terrible resistant bacteria that have learned to survive standard disinfection processes. These evolved microorganisms form armored colonies that pass unharmed through city treatment and arrive alive and hungry at your tap. The thought that treated water is sterile is a dangerous myth. In reality, it is merely an environment where the strongest survive, and you might be serving as a host for superbugs that common pharmacy antibiotics can no longer kill. Number 10. Slime and biofilm inside your water tank. Finally, in this first part, look up. When was the last time you actually went up to the roof and cleaned your water tank? The slime and biofilm that form on the walls of the dark reservoir create a viscous ecosystem, perfect for the proliferation of worms, insects, and fungi. Often, water arrives clean from the street but rots while sitting on your roof, in contact with green sludge and poorly sealed lids, turning your domestic reservoir into a private biological swamp that you use to cook and brush your teeth. Number 11. Pesticides and agricultural runoff. If you think you're free of agrochemicals just because you buy organic, think again, because agricultural runoff poisons the rivers that supply cities. Rain washes tons of poison from crops directly into reservoirs, creating a chemical soup that conventional treatments fail to purify completely. We are talking about substances linked to cancer and birth defects that arrive invisible in your glass, causing you to drink, sip after sip, the same pesticide that kills pests in the field, silently accumulating toxins in your fatty tissue. Number 12. Nitrates. Nitrates, derived mainly from fertilizers and sewage, represent a deadly and silent danger, especially for babies and small children. In the digestive system, they convert into nitrites, which block the blood's ability to transport oxygen, potentially causing the terrifying blue baby syndrome. It is an internal and chemical asphyxiation that occurs without warning, coming from groundwater contaminated by excess manure, proving that crystal clear water can hide compounds capable of suffocating vital cells and more fragile organisms. Number 13. Bad taste and smell indicating organic matter. You know that day when the water comes out tasting like dirt or smelling like rotten mud? That is not harmless. It is a clear sign of the presence of geosmin and decaying organic matter, coming from dead algae in the reservoirs. Although authorities swear it is safe, your primitive palate knows something is wrong. You are drinking the juice of rotting vegetation and riverbed sludge. It is the taste of eutrophication, a biological alert that your water source is sick and overloaded with polluting nutrients. Number 14. Arsenic. Arsenic is a natural and geological killer that contaminates deep groundwater, often without any human intervention, being a Class 1 carcinogen. It has no smell or taste, but its chronic ingestion, even in extremely low doses, is linked to skin, lung, and bladder cancer. It is a geographic Russian roulette. Depending on where your artesian well or your city's well was drilled, you could be slowly poisoning yourself with one of the most toxic elements in the periodic table, believing it to be pure mineral water. Number 15. Aluminum. To make water clear, treatment plants dump tons of aluminum sulfate to coagulate dirt, but residues of this light metal remain in the final liquid. The problem is that aluminum is a cumulative neurotoxin that can cross the blood-brain barrier and deposit itself in the brain over the years. Several researchers point to a disturbing correlation between areas with high aluminum content in water and the explosive increase in Alzheimer's and dementia cases, suggesting we are trading water turbidity for our future sanity. Number 16. Parasites. Not everything dies with chlorine. Armored parasites like Giardia and Cryptosporidium form microscopic cysts capable of resisting standard chemical disinfection for days. These intestinal invaders bypass security barriers and hatch inside your body, causing explosive diarrhea and abdominal pain that can last for weeks. Drinking a contaminated glass of water is like swallowing microscopic alien eggs that use your gut as an amusement park, a real and disgusting risk that happens much more frequently than the news reports. Number 17. Trihalomethanes. When the chlorine used to clean water reacts with leaves, sludge, and natural organic matter, it creates bastard byproducts called trihalomethanes. These compounds are proven carcinogens and are linked to severe kidney and liver problems in long-term studies. It is the cruel irony of modern sanitation, the very chemical added to protect us from acute diseases creates, through unstable chemical reactions, a carcinogenic cocktail that we consume daily without questioning the safety of these newly formed compounds. Number 18. Rats and dead pigeons in central reservoirs. The physical reality of large open reservoirs and poorly sealed building water tanks is a horror movie scenario. Rats, pigeons, and bats frequently fall in, drown, and rot inside. If the carcass doesn't block the pipe, it slowly decomposes, turning into a corpse tea rich in bacteria and viruses that mixes with the water you use to wash your face. It is the dirty secret of building and urban maintenance. Water may be treated at the source, but the final reservoir can be an aquatic cemetery for urban pests. Number 19. Sludge at the bottom of the glass if left to settle. Take the disgust test. Let a glass of tap water sit for 24 hours without moving it and observe the bottom against the light the next day. Frequently, you will see a fine layer of sludge, mineral dust, or unidentified particles that settled by gravity. This is physical proof that your water is a suspension of unwanted solids that your kidneys work double time to filter. If this dirt accumulates at the bottom of a clean glass, imagine what it is forming on the walls of your stomach and in your kidney stones over decades. Number 20. Endocrine disruptors. Beyond direct hormones, water carries a class of villains called endocrine disruptors, coming from plastics, industrial detergents, and cosmetics. These chemical agents mimic our natural hormones, binding to cell receptors and sending false messages that confuse the entire reproductive and metabolic systems. We are swimming in and drinking a chemical soup that may be altering children's puberty, reducing sperm counts, and increasing breast and prostate cancer cases, all invisible to the naked eye. Number 21. Drinking energetically dead water. To close with a controversial reflection, water that travels for miles in straight, pressurized, dark pipes, treated with chemical poisons, is considered by many alternative researchers as dead water. Unlike spring water, which turns, oxygenates, and energetically structures itself in nature, tap water loses its vitality and natural molecular structure. You may be hydrating your physical body, but ingesting a stagnant and energetically empty liquid, incapable of nourishing cells in the same way that living, wild water would. Final considerations. The liquid truth is hard to swallow, but ignoring what comes out of your tap won't make the contaminants disappear. The only defense is information and investment in heavy filtration, because blindly trusting the public system is playing Russian roulette with your biology. If this video opened your eyes to the invisible danger, smash the subscribe button and leave a like so we can strengthen our health together.